Welcome everyone. Thanks for clicking in. We're at PE Module 1, Nonverbal Communication. And this is our first module that we're really going to get into related to the elements of communication out of 6 modules. So we're really just starting at the very beginning. And this is an introduction to the discussion board. And as we previously said, there are 2 parts of this assignment. There's always a discussion board and an individual assignment. So this is the first part of your first class, shall we say. So welcome aboard. Before we jump into this module, we'd like to point out some features that we've developed to aid you in your studies. And due to the increased level of study information that these modules contain, we're going to have to provide a series of videos for your studies. And we've developed them into chapters that allow you to review the videos in smaller segments. So rather than you having to go click into a 45-minute video and fight your way through it, we've broken them up into into chapters. So you can watch one chapter and it's maybe a 7 to 10 minute video, get it down, then you can move to the next one, work on it. If you need to go back, you can. And these segments are identified in the upper right hand corner of the screen, and I'll show you right here. You can see where you see that 1 up here. That is the chapter number, so you'll always be able to tell which chapter you're in. And so what we've done is just gone ahead and registered it. And you can then, each one of these segments is going to be in your classroom materials, so you can just click on them as you need to. So let's go ahead and jump into the class. And here we are at the beginning of our nonverbal communication. And this is basically, let me just introduce what this class is going to do here, or this module is going to do. It's really hard for us to believe, in our everyday world that over 50% of our daily conversations, nonverbal expressions have more bearing than your words by a ratio of greater than 50%. It's more of how you present it. It's more how your body language is. It's more your tone. It's more about that. And I'm using the word 50% up here just because that's a hard number to believe. But in reality, when we start showing you all the study data, you're going to find out that rate is much higher than the 50%. So what exactly is nonverbal communication? Its definition is nonverbal communication has been defined as communication without words. It includes apparent behaviors such as facial expressions, eyes, touching, the tone of voice, as well as obvious messages such as dress, posture, and the spatial distance between 2 or more people. And this is just a definition I pulled off the internet from creducation.org, but that does give us a good example. Nonverbal communication has been defined as communication without words. And, here we're saying that over 50% of what gets conveyed is exactly that, without words. So what does that really mean? And in the past, this used to be called body language, which you may be more familiar with. And body language is a term that describes a person beyond his words. It's almost a subconscious mirror of the person talking. And it's used by everyone, whether we like it or not. I guarantee I do it. I guarantee that you do it, whether you like it or not, or know it or not. But it's that mirror that shows who you really are inside versus what you're saying in the way of words. Nonverbal communication reinforces or modifies what is said in words. For example, people may nod their head vigorously, saying yes, to emphasize they agree with the other person. But the shrug of a shoulders and a sad expression when saying I'm fine, thanks, may imply, guess what, that's not all really the story he's wanting to tell. So nonverbal communication conveys information about their emotional state, defines or reinforces the relationship between people. It provides feedback to the other person, and it regulates the flow of communication. And when I say that, it's by signaling the others that they have finished or they wish to say something. And a lot of that is when you see a person's hands open and you see a pause, that's allowing you to come into that. And it's all done via body communication. There are no words exchanged. You just know that that's your opportunity to interject at that point. And vice versa. If you need to interject in, you're going to make a physical movement in a way to try and grab the attention of the other person to allow you to interject yourself in that conversation. So this is getting back into what body language really is. And really, body language is an old term. It's now called nonverbal communication in today's world. In this module, we're going to be studying how nonverbal communication is used in business and look at ways to improve your professionalism by using these skills to your advantage. So rather than you just doing it because that's something that was natural to you, we're going to learn how to use it to something that is your intended result. So you're making yourself a little bit more professional by using all of your skills in a communication versus some of them. And we're also going to be talking a lot about hard skills and soft skills, which make this learning process much easier for you. And we're going to see this hard skills and soft skills throughout all the modules within this class and pretty much every class from this point on. Because hard skills are where the rules stay the same regardless of which company, circumstance, or people you work for. And these are the tasks which you repeat on a regular basis, such as filling out logs, monthly billings, submittals, RFIs. And while each one of these hard skills require intelligence, once they've been learned, they're applied the same way every day. So it becomes more of a mantra. It becomes an everyday event, and it becomes a hard skill. It's not something you think about. It's just a skill that you've honed and you've made better and better. And it's, to give you an instance, when a carpenter cuts a board, a 2x4 with a saw, that is a skill which requires knowledge as to how to use the saw efficiently. Do I want to cut on the inside of the line, or do I want to cut on the center of the line? You know, you learn those little tricks. Those are soft skills, but learning how to use a saw to cut one direction to the other is strictly a hard skill. How do I hold the saw? How do I pull the trigger on the saw? Do I make sure it's got the cord's not in the way? And that's your hard skill. And you go into your soft skills, it also requires, when you're trying to figure out how long you want to cut that board, that's a soft skill. But learning how to use a skill saw is about as hard skill as you can get. It's something you learn, you do repetitively, and as time goes on, you get better and better at it. So that's your differences, and we're really going to look at hard and soft skills throughout these modules as we go. And we're going to see a lot of key distinctions between these two aspects. In general, soft skills are more important in most business careers than the hard skills. And we have all known or worked for senior people, our bosses and their bosses, that don't seem that smart because they couldn't go fill out a log if they had to. But the fact remains they're in a senior position because they have exceptional soft skills. They know how to go in and leverage politics to further their careers. They've got good leadership skills. Their management skills are very good compared to a normal person that's got a lot of hard skills but not a lot of soft skills. And so soft skills is really what's going to make you the professional that you wish to be. And hard skills are required to be able to do the work, but the soft skills are how you're going to be able to do it with true professionalism and hopefully great quality and perfection. So as we study the subject further, you're going to find that in your discussions meetings, and everyday social interaction, nonverbal skills will have a greater bearing on your success than the hard skills of speech. And that's just the way it is. So in this first module, we're going to start the process of building your awareness related to nonverbal communication. So within the discussion board, we're really trying to get you to open your eyes and start noticing that these soft skills exist out there. And so it's not going to be a lot of work in this first module here. It's more getting you to open your eyes and pay attention. So we'll move on to the second chapter here in a second, but typically in all of these classes, the discussion board is really related to the hard skills of the work that we're doing, and the individual assignment, which is part of the same module, is where we go into all the soft skills. What we're studying here in this nonverbal communication has very little hard skills to it. So what we're really asking you to do for this discussion board is just pay attention, start looking at all the things that you haven't paid attention to as far as how people gesture, how they move their bodies, how they show their seniority physically and or through body language. So that's really what we're trying to do through this first module. So we'll go ahead and move on to chapter 2.